communications, none whatsoever, unless I reach out to Chief Bill. That's my only source. And he only can give me, because there are assigned detectives on the case. But we have not heard, or no one return on phone calls. If I call, they ignore the phone call. While I call Chief Bill, he'll get in contact with them. What you're telling me is what you already did non-verbally. There is nothing, you're not communicating with me.
Is the case still under investigation?
Um,
Still open and under investigation?
Yep, that's a good question.
Detectives on this case.
The assigned detective as of right now is Detective Sanders, and he's a new detective that was assigned. Since Chief Bell, we had Nathaniel Banks and Chief Sanders. Before then, the initial detective was Wesley Smith, and then once he left, we had Detective Kelsey Frank. So those 4 detectives that we have had since this case has been up under investigation. I'm here today asking to see is there possible that we can get the state police or someone to help look into this case, not just my case, other cases as well, but I'm here to speak on my behalf. To see can we get someone in to help this local police department look into this case.
Well, you are very concerned. So,
can you address what I think looked at one suspect in my phone that's to me, I we had so much time over it, probably that is probably for finding the cracks. That was my assumption.
Yes.
So this is an open case, and I think this is still going public, and hopefully someone listening may. January of 2023, I came on board. I met Ms. Transit with her concern. I can explain it, tell you where we are. So where we are, we have contacted the state police, their cold case division. Those guys have so many cases, they're not prioritizing. So now let me back up to in 2023, around I guess February, March, we met with Ms. Transit in the mayor's office, and we reopened the case. This is a complex case. There was a lot of errors made at the beginning, a lot of mistakes. So we're trying to go back to people to us about this case. The gentleman that was named, he cannot be charged at this point because of the speedy trial. So we're at a point where we're hitting brick walls and talking to folks. Because it is an open case. So I've communicated with Ms. Redmond in my office, and Ms. Redmond and Ms. Transit, as well as the husband, and understand what frustration we really do. And I'm committed to doing whatever we can do, give the resources that we can give. And I would say this, I also have inexperience, especially in the cold case area. But we're trying to make strides. We met last Friday, we laid the whole case file out. The same mistakes, errors I saw last year still exist. That in itself face based upon hearsay. It went nowhere. The department made an arrest. They should not have at the time they made it. This person was locked up for a period of time expired. this person cannot be recharged if he admits to homicide. You can't charge him again. Am I right? On the street trial, I think I'm right about that. He cannot be charged at all. We have a game plan that we're trying to put in effect since last Friday. It may work, it may not. But I'll keep Ms. Tracy informed as to what we're doing. Again, I understand the frustration. I think every child we feel the same way that she does as well as Ms. Whitman. So I'm committed to the best that we can. We are doing the best that we can. I'm not making excuses, but our detectives are young. I put Officer Banks on it, Officer Sanders. We're inexperienced in working cold cases. And we're trying to go back and revisit the case and piece together. Some guys are out of town that we need to talk to. One from Texas, he's incarcerated in Texas. Those guys that are local, they either get a lawyer, they want to talk to us. We can't speak out of them, so we just need to be creative at this point to try to get some answers, whether it be good or bad, where we put it. But right now, we just have to stalemate. The state police were involved on the onset. It was just state police were involved at the beginning. So we're picking it up. We're trying to take the bad stuff and put some good stuff in there and make it real. That's my opinion on the case while I read. The city attorney he's more than welcome to put eyes on it himself.
There's a couple of things. He made a statement about speedy trial. What speedy trial is from the moment that a person is arrested for a charge. They have, under Arkansas law, 365 days to be brought to trial. And the only time that's disputed is the time that the defendant has caused a delay, such as he can ask for a reschedule or what's commonly known as a continuance, but the clock keeps running. Part of the issue that Chief Bell and I have talked about, see, the public has an outcry every time there's a murder, every time there's a rape, every time there's a major charge. The city attorney doesn't handle those. Those are felony cases. They have to communicate with Todd Murray's office and his deputies, Amy Green and Chuck Calvin. The issue is there's a balance that is not being met. And what I mean by that is this. There's such a rush to get somebody arrested that when you arrest a person, the clock starts running. And what I've asked is for there to be more investigation before arrest is made, because as soon as arrest is made, the clock starts running. One of the things that we deal with oftentimes is the district court judge. He's informed by the prosecutor's office to don't set the first appearance until at least 45 days out. So 45 days are gone if they haven't bonded from the word go. So 45 out of 365 days are gone. And then the police department has to communicate back and forth with the prosecutor's office to the prosecutor's office to do what's called file criminal information. Criminal information is the actual charging document. Until the criminal information is filed, the person is not charged. They've been arrested, but the clock is still ticking. And so that starts the process. And a lot of times that's a rush to try to get people arrested. And I've tried to talk, Chief Bell and I have talked about it. I talked about Chief Smith, et cetera, about one of the things that the federal government does better than anybody. If they don't charge you till they got all the information, they don't arrest you till they have all the information. And I know there's a rush where people want people to get arrested. But one of the things Mr. Etheridge always talked about the purpose of a jail. Many people want people in a jail, but a jail is just a temporary fix to the issue because a person has a right to bond out of jail. And so people want people out in jail, and then they get frustrated when people get placed back on the streets. But it's part of the constitutional process. As it relates to this case, I haven't reviewed it because the city attorney doesn't review felony cases. Only the prosecutor's office reviews felony cases. Chief Bell is saying that's an issue with the case. I don't know what the issues are. He would have discussed those with Todd Murray, Amy Green, or Chuck Hamilton. And
They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it.
There's no communication. When we first initially spoke with Amy Green, which was March of 2022, she stated we had a solid case. That was 4 months already into the murder. The murder happened November of 2021. Amy Green until March 21 of 2022. She stated that we had a solid case. There was other eyes that were supposed to be present on the case. She had other people to look into the case. Her initial word was a solid case. When here comes May of 2022, she comes and tells us with another attorney, which was, his name is my phone, from out of Lee County, stating that we didn't have a case. So we go from March of 2022 to May of 22, from a solid case to no case. That's already 7 months that we have lost due to the speedy trial. Miscommunication. No miscommunication. That was May of 2022. We met back up with Amy Green July of 2022. And she stated that the case would not be taken to court due to the fact there is enough evidence from the police department, which was initiated by Chief Smith. That was July of 2022. We met back up with Amy Green September of 2022, and she stated the case would not be taken to trial. There is not enough time to even bring him to trial if there was enough evidence due to the speedy trial rule. So we lost that time from her statement from March of 22, telling us that we had a solid case until May of 2022. And yes, the state police did come in and interview, but they did not interview the ones that was initiated in the investigation. They interviewed someone that was an eyewitness, not the people that were supposed to be involved in the investigation. So there's a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misinformation when it came down to this case. The initial investigation, and I'm not gonna hold up y'all time any longer, but the initial investigation, there was no fingerprints taken, no pictures taken, no more than the deceit that was taken. That was all was taken. There was supposed to be ballistic bullets that's supposed to be there. There was 11 shots. My son took 7. My nephew took 2. So them numbers don't add up. If there was 11 shots and only 7 hits was hit my son, where's the bullets? Where's the ballistic? It was supposed to be stated that when the individual that was interviewed by the state police, when he was interviewed by the state police, he was told by one of the officers at the time to come out to the scene to state that he seen the individual that was arrested, which was Mike Rogers, on the body cam. That body cam is nowhere to be found. No body cams is nowhere to be found in his initial investigation. They're nowhere, none whatsoever. So no ballistics, no body cam, no nothing. We don't have nothing, but just an eyewitness that's supposed to be gave a statement, was interviewed by the state police, but not the initial ones that were listed in the police report, which there was 4 individuals.
so those body cams were never uploaded on a server?
No, sir. No, sir, they was not.
She's accurate in
No,
her statements.
No, sir.
Oh, see, Chief Smith had a whole phone. Did he turn his phone back?
It's non-existent, sir. It's non-existent, sir.
But what we should do is, we can get that up, whatever the double, we can get the double. We can call it.
I don't mean technology advanced every day. So what was there 2 years, 9 months, and 0 days ago, that information is no longer exists. No longer exists. Anybody can go in and do a completed wipeout. That information no longer exists. If you didn't get it right then and there, you cannot go back and get that information. Just let me know from the person that is working IT. The information no longer exists.
So, Chief Bell, this is just for my information. So there was never, the procedure wasn't followed to upload it, no place on the seat, no place on the jump drive.
So I don't know what they did in 2022. I can tell you what I've done in 2023. That missing item that she stated, I don't know where they are. We've looked at this wrong. Okay, that's what
Have
it's
y'all called the other investigators?
Fair.
What
It's
is,
the effort got something.
we talk, aggressive,
In 2022, I assisted one of your officers who had been disciplined for not uploading a video.
Mm.
And what we found out in the process is that the city was not providing storage devices to the officer. They were having to go to Walmart and buy their own storage devices to upload video. And when they ran out of money to buy it, they didn't store videos anymore.
that's not the case today.
Well, I'm just saying in 2022, that was the case. So before 2022, there may not be any storage devices that have, city-owned storage devices that have videos on them. But that happened with an officer, and that came to light because we had adopted the new body cam policy, but the city was not providing the officers with the equipment to store the video. They would have to buy them.
Well, the case in point is even if we use our own equipment for official business, then our equipment becomes business. So the evidence still should be where it's supposed to be.
What I'm saying is, I heard the statement there was no body cam video, and the problem with the body cam video, they might not. Have
Well, the body cam should be there. That's city equipment. The body camera.
No, not the storage device.
We keep the storage devices for the body camera, not the jump drive or different things like that. You may be onto something, but the body cam, you keep that footage.
I think y'all missing each other. He says, you come.
No, they should have kept body camera footage then.
The former administration, they would get chewed out because they would have to go out to Walmart, buy a drug drive, come back to work, upload it, then present it, because at the time, the former administration, they had no storage. Because I think one of the officers, she came before, she told us, remember that she said she was coming this deal. She said every time she had to do something, she had to upload it on a jump drive. And that's how other officers would see what she was doing, because she had to share with other officers. So I remember that.
If they use their personal equipment for official business, it becomes official property.
I think when Mr. Bradley said we talking past each other, sometimes they never downloaded videos because they didn't have devices. That's what they told us. They said sometimes they would have body cam video and they never downloaded it because they didn't have devices. Are you saying that body cam never loses its
Right.
record?
Right. The body cam system itself maintains what the body camera captures. Then we could download it from the system to a jump drive to pass on for information action, stuff like that. But the system itself maintains those documents and information.
It doesn't have a limitation on the amount of information that it can,
No, sir.
So it's forever. So then if you can find the body cam, you can find the video.
Right. We just got new body cam.
You have an inventory for body cam?
They exchanged them. We just got a new set that we gotta figure out how to do just what you just said.
I guess unless somebody took one home, then it ought to be there, right?
Right. What one they had back in
Mr. Banks is also saying that from the beginning of 2022, we got everything. But prior to the beginning of 2022, it's questionable as to what we had.
2021.
2022 forward is good. 2021 and back is questionable.
So that's what I'm saying.
Investigation.
Yeah.
The investigation, the murder happened November 26, 2021. So you only have evidence from the beginning of January 2022. That doesn't make sense to me. If you are using a body cam, a police body cam. So that doesn't make sense. But Mayor and the City Council, what I'm asking if it's possible that we can get someone in to help our local police department. As Chief stated, that his detectives are unexperienced. So if we can get a new set of eyes to look into my son and nephew murder, and not just my son and nephew murder, just the murders that has not been solved over the years. That's my request that I'm asking.
So, the motion say what we do she this case, let's solve the case. they should wish you, we can motion. And say,
Here's the practical problem. City council can't act for a state police investigation. They've sent us a letter, and city council question one before. They said the only person they requested is Don Murray.
or police chief. Police chief. Would you do that for us, chief? Would you put something right so we can send it? This transit, Ms. Redmond, a letter showing that we initiate this when they get a response to you. So they can be in the loop. The body, be in the body will be in the loop, so that we have open communication with Mr. Transit, Ms. Redmond, Mr. Transit, and the mayor, and the city council.
When you are asking the agency that already has looked at it, that's not, in my opinion, I think Mr. Transom may agree. We get agents to put eyes on it, I guess. What we had,
So what agency can we get?
we're trying.
Because we need.
We try to get somebody from a different troop, I guess, to see if they would come in. But the one that's in Troop D that initially did the investigation had issues.
You keep saying did the initial investigation, and did not do the investigation. Only thing they did was interview an eyewitness. They did not initiate the investigation. The local police department is the one who initiated the investigation, not the state police. He only interviewed an eyewitness, and that was it. That was it. That's the only part the state police had. They did not initiate the investigation.
I think it's very small thing to ask our police chief to get whatever paperwork we need in place to request the state police. That doesn't seem like a big deal to me, especially considering the circumstances.
Allow some time to respond to things. Even if it's even if it's well, I really don't have much of an update right now, but we're looking into it, you know, and not even just internally, but also with the prosecutor's office and things. I mean, but when people are not getting any response from anybody, then that's when tempers begin to flash. People get extremely frustrated. Everybody deserves a return call, even if it's 2 days later or 3 days later, but everybody, or at least a return call or a return email. Everybody is deserving of that.
She said she's getting it from us, the prosecutor.
That's just right.
No,
That's
I'm
right.
only getting it from Chief Bell, not the detectives that are assigned to the
That's right.
case.
Even if it's, I don't have anything to get any more information right now, but we're still looking into it. But to not return a call at all, I just don't think that's acceptable.
That's not what she just said.
She said you was responding, but she said detective.
Let me say this also.
Okay.
That's what our department. We'll call the state police. We don't have the resources.
I understand that too.
We don't have the man.
I understand that too.
24/7 to the case.
I understand that too.
We have stuff going on every single day. We've had 5 homicides this year alone.
I understand that.
And we're still investigating. So we're going to put our best efforts forward.
Yes, sir.
To try to find out what we can find out for the transit family, the Redmond family. I have better communication.
Yes, sir.
So what do the best we can?
Yes, sir. Moving forward, the whole she mentioned about the data. Is that being taken care of now? Like with the like data storage and transferring the data and all that stuff.
Okay, this case got so many holes. There's so much stuff missing.
Yes, sir.
Even the rounds are missing, the bullets are missing, the shell case is missing. So we're fighting an uphill and trying to get this case and put it together. If we put something together, the evidence, we'll keep looking.
Yes, sir.
We got to try to find the evidence and we find something.
I understand that.
I don't know, I haven't heard anything about a weapon that's been found or located, so we backtracking. We're gonna start the backtrack. Have some security guards that's working at night. We're gonna call them back in and just re-interview them and they will talk to us. Certainly, we made contact with a few people that they either lawyered up or just wouldn't say anything.
But if I understand correctly, she's asking that we state police involved.
I have no objection.
Okay, so, and that makes sense.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you for making us aware of this. I knew nothing about this.
And Chief Bell, you know, that for sure makes me a lot more sensitive now to what you've been saying in the past about needing a code base, needing assistance with that and all that. So I appreciate that because
Thank you.
Good. Mr. Mayor, members of the administration, and members of the council, we do have Mr. Eddie Trancy here, as well as Mr. Vita Red. Eddie Trancy, of course, is Eddie Trancy III's father, and Vita is Avon Redmond's mother. But they concur with Ms. Trancy's statements, and so they will not be coming forward to speak. All right. After the meeting, Mr. Mayor, I've shared some thoughts with the family that I share with you that are executive, some things you could perhaps do that might be helpful.
Mr. Administration, I do apologize and sorry for your loss. We're going to do everything we can to make sure we, as from the mayor's office, from the city council, to try our best to assist the chief what we can to get y'all some resolution. And I'm sorry for y'all loss, but I'm with you all.
Right. If we could go to page 30 of your packet, it's a request from the water department for Delta Plumbing for leak repair. It's in the amount of $6,500 and has some details attached, but it's over the mayor's $5,000 spending limit. Page 30. And we just asked that the council consider that and approve it, or we can deal with it at your next meeting if you need time to study it. And I know y'all can do two things at once. Today is the 27th. Our next regular meeting is the 3rd, which is right after the holiday. There's been a question asked, and I'm going to ask you so you can decide if you want to move your meetings to September the 10th and September the 24th, as opposed to starting on September the 3rd, right after Labor Day. It's totally your call how you take that. Mr. Miller, what I mentioned while you was out was
Yes,
the next meeting is next week, the 3rd, the day after Labor Day.
Okay.
You want to meet then, or do we want to meet on the 10th and 24th? So it's the 3rd and 17th, or the 10th and 24th.
My vote is the 10th and 24th, but
It's for the discussion of the council, whatever you all decide. 10th and 24th. All right. If Ms. Coates, if you make a note for the clerk so she can notify those who she notified, and the people who are listening can hear it as well. Right. Instead of the 3rd and the 17th, we'll go to 10th and the 24th of September for regular meetings. Right now, Dr. Miller, we're on page 30, and we're considering the Delta Plumbing pay request. Water department repairs is $500 in excess of the $5,000 spent at the authority for the mayor. This is the ongoing water leak repair based on the crisis that we're in. And we, from an update standpoint on the water well and stuff, they continue to do the work out there. And we don't have a real substantial update to give you. Hopefully, before the 10th, we'll have something from Ken. But he can tell you, we did make a second payment, I believe, or second set of payments. We should have paid about half or close to half of what we've been approved on the well construction. And those guys have been working some 24-hour shifts, depending on what's going on, and sometimes just during the day. They had gotten below 550 feet last I visited the site. And of course, for the last 3 days, the mayor and I have been in Hot Springs. We got back this afternoon in time for this meeting.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we pay Delta Plumbing the invoice.
I say.
Mr. Anthony,
Motion by Miller, Maxine Miller. Who's the second?
Dr. Miller.
Second by Kyle Miller. Is there any discussion? Would you call the roll?
Davis. Mr. Columbia. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Harris. Mr. Etherly.
Yes.
And Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So then, basically, what remains of the agenda, as I see it, is items 6C on down to G, which are those ordinances about weed lots, condemnation, and cleaning gutters, and not building in the street, no dumping in the city limits, and weed, rubbish, and grass ordinance. And I don't know if y'all want to go through those tonight or when you want to deal with them, if at all. But it's just there for your consideration.
I thought we had all that already.
We made these updated ordinances from the booklet that the municipal league produces. And so we've taken those ordinances that they've suggested as sample ordinances and contoured them to our city. And so these would supersede the ones that already exist, but be in conformity with the best practices as outlined by the municipal league. And I believe they start on page 31, these ordinances. Or maybe 32.
And what's the ordinance number for the prohibiting dumping of trash or refuse within the city of Helena-West?
Madam Clerk, do we have what the next ordinance number was? The last I recall is 16 or 17 that we did.
I'll give you this. I'm not sure what I'm looking at over here.
Yeah, the number's not gonna be in the packet.
Oh, okay.
When we did the water, we did, I think, 16 and 17.
Mhm.
I think we did 15 and 16. So we do 18, we say. But it's just, the clerk just assigning the numbers. And if we skip, she just write in the book that you skipped the number. So we can go with 18 for the number.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 18.
Which page is that?
32?
32?
Yes, sir.
The ordinance 18?
Does your motion include suspending the rules placed on third and final reading the title only?
Yes.
Motion by Maxine Miller to place ordinance number 18 on its third and final reading the title only. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Davis. Is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
All right, Ms. Davis? Yes. Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris? Yes. And Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Ordinance number 18, 2024, ordinance prohibiting the dumping of trash or refuse within the city of Helena, West Helena, providing a penalty therefore and for other purposes. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by St. Columbia, second by Kyle Miller. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Davis? Mr. St. Columbia? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris? Yes. Mr. Etherly?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Motion carried.
No emergency clause.
No.
The next ordinance is on page 33. We'll call it number 19. And this is an ordinance requiring that any person building a private or public driveway over any public ditch to provide adequate means by tile or other construction to be approved by the street department director or superintendent to allow the continued flow of water through said ditch, providing a penalty for violation hereof and for other purposes.
Ordinance 19.
Yes.
Just like to make that motion.
Ms. Harris moved to,
Suspend the rules, place on third and final reading, reading the title only.
Yeah.
Ms. Davis, second the motion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ms. Davis. Yes. Mr. St. Columbia.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Etherly.
Get a motion
Yes.
to
And
adopt.
Ms. Miller.
Yes,
Motion
Is
carries.
there a motion to adopt?
so moved.
Ms. Miller moves to adopt. Ms. Davis second the motion. Ms. Davis and Ms. Harris second the motion together. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ms. Davis. Mr. St. Columbia.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Etherly.
Yes.
And Mr. Miller.
Yes,
Motion carries.
The next ordinance is on page 34. And this one is simple but very important. It's an ordinance requiring owners or occupants of premises abutting on streets to keep street gutters alongside their premises clear of all matter, preventing the free flow of water therein and prohibiting obstructions to such flow and prescribing a penalty for its violation. And this, you see, some people will cut their yard, but it's a ditch between their yard and the street, and they won't deal with the street, just let the stuff grow up. They leave stuff in the ditch. This would prohibit them from doing that. And give us some means of enforcing. You clean up basically from the center of the street back to your backyard, really, is what we're expecting people to do. You know, some people come by and say, that's a city ditch. They're supposed to keep it clean in front of their own place. Or we are supposed to keep it clean in front of our own place as.
Ordinance number 20.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Davis to adopt ordinance number 20. Harris second the motion.
For the record, the motion is to suspend the rules, place on third and final reading, reading the title only, which has already been read by the chief of staff.
quick question. If this is a rental property, does this fine go to the person renting or to the person who actually owns the house or the place?
Good
I
question.
believe it goes to the occupant. Occupant.
So
It says owner or occupant, but I would imagine if the owner is not the occupant, it would be the occupant, unless it's an apartment complex. You understand? Just be practical. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
do you think that we may revisit this and make sure that our word is a little bit, I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, I would think if it was
Typically,
a-
as a city attorney, we would likely, if they brought it, they would do it by citation or by affidavit. And as city attorney, I'm more concerned about who's living there, being responsible for it.
or- okay.
Like if you rent a home.
Yeah.
You're responsible. You got to cut the grass.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood. Okay, so
Yeah. It's got an or, so you can deal with either or. I think the landlord would probably have some level of defense. I rented it to this person, and our agreement is that he or she will keep it up. If they don't keep it up, at some point, the landlord would probably need to evict them.
I lost this in the procedural part of it.
There was a motion and a second. Ms. Davis moved
Is that to suspend the rule?
to suspend the rules. We haven't taken a vote on that.
Okay, so I have not a question, just an observation about this and the next ordinance, which deals with cutting grass, weeds and grass. Enforcement in the one that we're talking about right now, which is 20, is, I would assume, because it's a misdemeanor, it would be police department or by affidavit.
Yeah, or by
or
affidavit.
by
of code enforcement.
affidavit. But the next one, which would be 21 in line, is by code enforcement. If I'm reading it right, and I'm just scanning over by code enforcement.
Yeah,
Why would the ditch not be maintained by code enforcement as well? Well, I mean, and let me ask the city attorney, how would you?
2024 says both either chief of police or code enforcement in section 2. 21, 24 on page 35. In the section 2, it says either one. Typically, as it relates to the law, either can enforce it. The police officer can give a citation, or the code enforcement have to do affidavit because they're not certified law enforcement officers. While they do law enforcement, enforcing ordinances, they haven't gone to state police training or a leader Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy to be trained. So they typically don't write citations.
What do you think is the most efficient way to do it? I guess it's well.
The most efficient way to do it? Either way, if you want to add the language that either the police or the police department could do it, but typically code enforcement is going to be doing the day-to-day. Police not going to go out and do.
Mr. Esther, I could add a little enlightenment. I believe the next ordinance duplicates the first one. I believe the code enforcement has the power under the next ordinance to keep the ditch clear.
I mean, that's okay. To me, it seems like it's more efficient if code enforcement can just go out and say, hey, you need to cut your ditch, versus doing affidavits and getting the judge to sign a warrant, and then you gotta go serve them and get them in court and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and what they would typically do is send a letter out under the 7-day ordinance.
But they would typically send the letters, as Chief of Staff is saying, and as you're well aware, they would have to do an affidavit to have a charging instrument.
I know, but I would make that motion. I'm just,
That's inside banter, which definitely makes that motion regularly in court.
because they don't do it all the time. My preference is that it's easy as possible for code enforcement to enforce. That's all I'm trying to get to. And I don't necessarily know what that is, but whatever is easiest for code enforcement to do to get it done, they can make it faster. I'm just trying to get to that end.
As a practical standpoint, it's going to be code enforcement doing these because the police department is not going to be the one going out.
And if everybody feels comfortable, if y'all feel comfortable from an administrative standpoint, the code enforcement can do this efficiently, easily, then I'm okay.
Dave made the motion. I think somebody on this side made a second. Ms. Harris. And so it was a motion to suspend order number 2024, place it on its third and final reading the title on the title is already read by Chief of Staff. That's where we are right now.
That's on page 34.
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Ms. Davis? Mr. St. Columbia?
Yeah.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
And Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion adopted.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Ms. Miller moves to adopt. Mr. St. Columbia, second the motion. In discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Davis? Yes. Mr. St. Columbia? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris? Yes. Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
And Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, so the next ordinance on page 35. It's an ordinance requiring that premises be kept free from weeds, rank grass, garbage, rubbish, and other unsightly and unsanitary articles, requiring property owners to eliminate, fill up, or remove stagnant pools of water or any other unsanitary thing, place, or condition which might become a breeding place for mosquitoes, flies, and germs harmful to the health of the community, and prescribing the procedure to be followed in such cases. And that's on page 35, and that'd be ordinance number 21.
That's number 21, and thank you to code enforcement for going out on 2nd Street and making them drain the swamp that existed back there behind Dollar General. So I will make the motion to suspend the rules, place this ordinance number 21 on its third and final reading title only.
Make the motion, is there a second? This is Motion on 30, final reading. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Yes, Ms. Davis? Mr. St. Columbia?
Yeah.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
And Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Motion carries.
For the record, the chief of staff has already read the title of the witness. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
If that is moved, so moved. What? Chance, second
Yes.
motion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia?
Yeah.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, there was a dock.
Yeah.
That had water that was 3 to 4 feet deep, and it had algae growing over the top. It was awful. And when the sun would go down, the mosquitoes were so thick, people couldn't stand outside.
Wow.
But they got them to drain it, and they worked on it for a little bit, got them to drain it. And so I wanted to send a shout out to code enforcement.
The next ordinance on page 36, I'm gonna ask you to skip. That's
Question about that one. So
well, because we haven't talked about it, I think we should skip it and come back to it at some point.
Okay.
Number 37, we've already adopted.
Page,
Page 37. We adopted this like a year or two ago. We changed the condemnation ordinance. It's the same one for the municipal league.
this is from Municipal League.
Yeah,
We adopted this already.
I remember.
So then we'll double check, make sure they're the same, and we'll bring it back if they're not. And that's the entire agenda, unless you want to go back to something else.
I have one matter that just came to my desk.
Oh, we got the police department here for a brief.
I have one matter. Last city council meeting, council voted relating to the Helena Regional Hospital, which is now Progressive. We voted regarding the $3 million, and since then, ADQ has visited the site. ADQ has written a report dated August 14th, 2024. It's to Phillips Hospital Company, LLC, Helena Regional Medical Center. It's about a tank that's located on the facility. There's a tank that's located on the facility. It was installed February 1998, and it has diesel in it and has never been removed. And they're asking the city to remove it. When the mayor, the chief of staff, the city treasurer, and I met with Helena, with progressive officials, they informed us of a tank issue. ADQ has cited in this report that there's been no monitoring, no reporting, nothing relating to this tank. There may be diesel in it. There's been no monthly monitors, no spill bucket tests, no overfill tests, no AB operator, no monthly walkthrough, no annual report, no 3-year report. Nothing's been reported about this tank. And the tank is supposed to be removed. It is a tank that contains diesel. I don't know if I stated it earlier, but it's there. And what they had informed us, when I said they, Progressive had informed the city officials that were present, is that until the tank is removed, there can't be a closing date set, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir. So what's the gist of this?
I just got the report this afternoon, but it wants some action taken within 30 days.
Well, we're working on that. We talked with Philip Fields, the engineer at the landfill, and some other consultants.
Right.
Will be out this week to look at it, to confer with ADQ to make sure that we as a city are qualified to remove it. If there's dirt that needs to be replaced, what quality that would need to be, and all of those things. So
Okay.
I wasn't gonna make that report because we're kind of in the midst of getting it together.
I understand, but they just gave us this afternoon, and also we just want to know time-wise. We're down to 57 days relating to compliance with the city administrative order.
Yes, sir. We've advertised the positions in the water department, which is one of the chief things that we've had to do. I don't know if we've gotten any hits yet.
I understand. I was just forming the council because
What was that diesel used for? Do they gas up cars or something?
The diesel was for generator backup.
Okay.
So it would generator would come on when the power would go out.
Yeah.
So it's back there at the back it's the north end at the back. If you were going like to the podiatrist, if you could drive around behind the hospital, it's right back there. But it's buried underground. It's got a sign that said tank here kind of thing. So looking at it from above the ground, it all looks normal. But the consulting firm, AEI, that we gave you the big packet on, said that they thought it was leaking. And so it needs to be removed to get rid of the environmental concern. But I went through the report, I thought pretty thoroughly, and I didn't see where it says it was leaking in the AEI report that we shared with you all. But they swear it's in there. So I'm going to ask the city attorney and Kyle to show where it is. But at the same time, we're working on with these consultants and all to get the problem fixed.
Now, the city's first notice of this is we received the email. I received the email last night, and I couldn't open it, and they resent it today. This is addressed to Helena Regional, it's addressed to Phillips Hospital Company, LLC. It's not addressed to the city. However, we're aware that the city is the owner of it. But that's some issues that we need to take up.
What was the closing date of this agreement? When we supposed to be closed, like in February, January, February?
December of last year.
December? Why are we still even talking about this? They should have been involved. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, we got one other item, if we could have that before you lose patience. The police department has a grant proposal.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Detective Banks with Helena-West Police Department. And we're here to propose for a grant we submitted between the Arkansas Department of Public Safety. It's an equipment grant that we're trying to get in, which our ceiling of the grant is $75,000. At this point, we need equipment. We're running off bare minimum. Right now, what we're asking for is CAD units, computer-aided dispatching. It's a system that incorporate our unit vehicles to dispatchers. Instead of radio coming over the traffic, radio will be coming through the actual computer system. It'll also give a location on the officers on where they at. So if we have an officer on the east side and it's a call on the west side, we can dispatch the officer that's closer. So instead of just coming off top of here with sending this officer. We also asking for AWIN radios. Our radios right now is horrible. It gets to a certain point of town, you can't hear the traffic is distorted. And we also asking for tasers. At this point, tasers are needed. With this line of work, right now, the way our officers are equipped, we only have OC spray and our duty weapon. We have to go from the least amount of force possible, given that situation. But you only give us two options to go to, which we have. It's another option is on the market, but we don't have it. We trying to get it. We have worked with Phillips County Community College. We have worked with Delta Dog France, and Delta Magic. I'm sorry. We have worked with Delta Magic, and also we have worked with the Chamber of Commerce. We all have together on building this grant. We got the grant submitted on August 18th, right before deadline, which is August 19th. So right now, the only thing we're really asking for the council is for the CAD units. When we get the CAD units, we need a secure network for these vehicles. We can't just get any type of Wi-Fi and put on because it's not secure. The information is coming through. We can't let that information leak out to the general public. So we need a secure network, which right now we didn't gather, which it'll be for 12 units, it'll be $500 a month. Okay. The overall price for the CAD units is $18,000. It's $1,500 per unit. which that is already taken care of from the grant. And that's a one-time payment. Once we get the equipment in, we won't have to worry about having to bill for the units. The only bill to come from is for the network. Yes, just for the Wi-Fi connection. That's the only thing we're asking for.
And then when will you know if you've been awarded?
We will know January 1st.
Make that motion, because we need to bring the city up to the 20th century.
Yes.
There's no way you guys should be on the side of the road and gotta wait on a call in a tag number. And you receive information from dispatch.
I second.
Motion to, Ms. Miller seconds the motion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ms. Davis? Yes. Mr. St. Columbia? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
in a good mood tonight. If anybody need anything else, we go. We're in a good mood. We roll.
Choice.
In a good mood. That's nothing else?
That's the
That's
agenda.
all I'm saying? I'm sorry. The meeting adjourned.